Tate, wide receiver from Ohio State.
This is a 6'3", 195-pound wide receiver that had 63 of his last 92 receptions go for either a first down or a touchdown in college. This guy moves the chains.
His talent is apparent. He's got 2 amazing catches versus Grambling State. I know it's Grambling State, but you see the raw talent ability because Carnell Tate is not just open against these teams. You can see the natural pass catching ability with his hands away from his body. He's using his body to also block defenders, which is a next level processing that most receivers don't have. Most receivers, they just want to catch the ball. They'd be happy with that. Carnell Tate is not only thinking about making the catch, he's also thinking about stopping the defender from stopping him from making the catch. It's just that next level processing that shows what he can do, shows how quarterback friendly he is. And you can kind of see that with his raw metrics, his physical attributes. He's got an 85th percentile hand size with 46th percentile arm length. So he's just got some huge mitts for catching the football, and that shows with him not dropping the ball, rarely ever, extremely reliable wide receiver. We see that 6'2" frame at use in this catch against Nebraska. The ball is out there. He has the defender, could potentially make a play on it, but he literally slows down, uses his hands away from his body. The defender has absolutely no chance, and that's exactly what quarterbacks look for at the NFL level, a wide receiver they can trust, and a wide receiver that's going to make his quarterback look great.
Seth, I definitely agree with you on the football IQ and the way that he does play. He does run routes well, and he's quick off his breaks. He's also really good against beating zone coverage, which is something that's going to be important in the NFL, considering how much zone coverage NFL defenses run. And he's already operating at a pro level in that. He's averaging 3.2 yards against zone coverage, 3.1 against man as well. So it's not like he relies on the coverage of a defense. He is really good at high pointing and catching the ball in those contested catching situations, which is why he's also so good at man coverage. It's actually insane to watch him high point these balls. I've seen so many reps of a corner just being in perfect position to make a play, but it just does not matter. Like Seth said, with the arm length, with his ability, he has good catch timing. His body control is great. I see a lot of George Pickens when he actually tries in that aspect of his game. Absolutely love that. But like any player, they're going to have some weaknesses. One that I would say isn't the biggest weakness, but something that is going to be highlighted on his numbers and things about him is that he did run a 4.53 40-yard dash that ranks 27 out of 34 receivers while being at 195 pounds. From a speed to strength perspective, not a very good spot there. Him being 195 pounds isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like maybe more physical corners can knock him off his route. We saw a little bit of that in college, but we've seen a lot lighter wide receiver group be successful in the league. So I wouldn't necessarily put that as a problem. Anybody can put on more size at the NFL level and be perfectly fine. The bigger thing that I notice is that sometimes he does telegraph a little bit of his routes with his pad level specifically. He rises up a little bit on those comeback and stop routes. A guy like KC Concepcion does not do that. Again, this is more of a correctable tendency. This is a really easy fix for the right NFL coaching and right NFL team. If you have bad coaching, maybe that won't change, but I believe in his ability and him as a prospect to change those small things. His run blocking also clearly a work in progress, in my opinion. The effort is there, but the hand placement, some of the other more technical things isn't up to par for NFL level yet. Not every wide receiver has to be an elite Puka Nacua level kind of blocker, but it is definitely a weakness that I saw in his game.
Avery, I agree with the weaknesses you called out, so I'm not going to repeat those. But I will note that with his 40 time, we have seen some players with similar 40 times be really strong after the catch. And Carnell Tate doesn't really have that burst, the acceleration. He's not only not the fastest guy, he doesn't have the quickest burst and acceleration in the open field. So there's lower after the catch upside. And the other big concern that I have, and we've downgraded other prospects in this draft class because of this, but it doesn't seem like that's happening with Carnell Tate, who may be the first wide receiver drafted overall, is that he has operated as a wide receiver too. Jeremiah Smith led the team with 87 receptions. Carnell Tate had 51. The year before, Carnell Tate was the wide receiver 3 behind Igbuka and Jeremiah Smith. These are top tier wide receivers. That's not debatable at all. Emeka Igbuka, pro level. Jeremiah Smith, definitely a pro level guy. He's just waiting to get a little bit older before he goes to the NFL. But operating as a wide receiver 2 behind somebody that's so game breaking like Jeremiah Smith does make it quite a bit easier. You're never facing the top corner of a team. Teams are maybe not bracketing you nearly as much, especially since he doesn't have that burning speed, over the top ability. I do have slight concerns compared to some other top wide receivers in the draft class. Not that he's going to be a bad receiver, but he just may not bring the same upside as some of these faster, wide receivers with more open field upside that have operated as the wide receiver ones for their teams in college.
Yeah. And when you look at it from an NFL perspective to what exactly he can compare to in the league, I saw from a college tape perspective a lot of Xavier Hutchinson from a floor perspective. From a ceiling, though, he definitely has some of the highest potential, of course, which is why he's going as a top 3 wide receiver in the draft. I think a prime, healthy Chris Olave is something that we could see. I hate to throw the JSN player comp, but I think his game from Ohio State also matches really, really well. Seth, is there anybody that might be a little bit more obscure or somebody that you see in his game?
Yeah, maybe someone that didn't get comped as much is Michael Pittman Jr. I see a lot of the same technique, and the main thing that stands out between him and Michael Pittman Jr. Michael Pittman Jr. is a little bit bigger, which is nice for this kind of talent, but the intermediate routes and extending the hands away from the body. Michael Pittman Jr. doesn't have the best after the catch ability. You see that in his tape, especially in 2025. He catches the ball, he gets tackled, but he catches the ball. He gets open. He's able to use his body to extend his arms, catch the ball away from his body, and make the play and get the first down. That's what people are drafting Carnell Tate to do, is go out there, get open, get them first downs, and move down the field. I do love players that can catch the ball, they can go score a touchdown. Carnell Tate may not be that guy unless he's near the red zone, but he is a player that quarterbacks are going to say, okay, it's third down. Where's Carnell Tate? And that's what I see in Michael Pittman Jr. as well. That's where I would hope for a strong rookie season, where there'll be weeks where he has 8-9 catches if he ends up with the right team and the right system.
Of the big 3 wide receivers in this class, Lemon, Tyson, and Tate is my favorite. And that might be a hot take. I think he's the most locked in, safe option of this entire class. Ohio State is a wide receiver factory. It's very rare you can go wrong taking a Buckeye wide receiver to join your team. First thing I'm going to say before we get into his receiver abilities, the typical stuff, catching, route running, etc. I think as a blocker, he is an argument for being the blocking wide receiver in this class. I think he has a Puka Nacua level ceiling as a blocker, which isn't super important to you if you're watching this for fantasy football purposes, but for longevity in his career, getting playing time early, it's a very important thing to be noting. In his collegiate career, he only had a 3% drop rate, which is pretty ridiculous if you look at how many times he was throwing the ball and in big games and in big moments. He's certainly, Avery and Steph said it a lot, awesome route runner. I think his technique is probably his biggest strength. But one thing I think that's super underrated is his deep playability. Like the breakaway speed, okay, it's not like elite of the elite, but he makes the catches down the field. And if we're looking at player comps, Avery's Xavier Hutchinson one was pretty awesome and on the money for like a floor technique. The film is pretty similar. I see a little bit of like maybe some Trey Harris action in terms of the floor. But if we're looking at the ceiling, low level ceiling, I see someone like Rashad Bateman, underrated deep route guy, similar build. Rashad Bateman's a little bit bigger, catches the ball effectively, doesn't drop the ball that often, and makes the most of his opportunities when the ball comes his way. If we're looking at top tier ceiling, and you can say I'm insane, you can say I'm crazy, that's fine. I've heard much worse. Similar build, similar size. I think the route running, if he keeps honing in on that craft and getting better at it, I see a CeeDee Lamb sort of situation here. CeeDee Lamb's faster, but Tate is, I truly believe his catching and route running is going to be elite at the NFL level. I don't think him playing behind Emeka Egbuka and Jeremiah Smith is something we can hold against him. Ohio State's always going to get the best players, and when he got the ball, he made the most of it. They won the national championship for a reason. I don't think they could have won that national championship without Carnell Tate on that team. Overall, I'm super excited for Carnell Tate. If you're a team in need of a wide receiver 1 or a wide receiver 1B, 1A scenario, cannot go wrong with Carnell Tate. And of all the wide receivers in this class, I think he's most likely to offer you a consistent fantasy floor throughout his career, and probably earlier than anyone else as well. Yeah, my cat just spilled my drink all over my leg, so we're going to try to get through this. Oh my gosh, man. My leg is like sticky. All right. This will be my flu game. For all of our takes, stats, data, and anything you could possibly need to know about the upcoming offensive rookies in the NFL draft, download the WalterPicks app and check out our rookie guide. We've spent hours and hours and hours working on it, and we cannot wait for you to get your hands on it. Lock into the WalterPicks rookie guide.